Hey y'all, I just want to take a minute to talk a little bit about gray literature. I mentioned it in class yesterday and then intended to go into a little bit more detail about it and then didn't do that before we got into some other conversations. So there was a question asked and I thought I would just address it here by video, just to change it up a little. So I'm going to submit this video along with a couple of links and resources on the modules for you to take a look at, and give you a brief synopsis of what gray literature is. So there's a lot of different ways that it's defined. But really, when you're thinking about what is gray literature in really broad strokes, it is stuff that is unpublished. So this can include conference reports, this can include unpublished clinical trials, it can include dissertations and graduate theses. So an example would be I'm involved in some legislative policy stuff for midwives, and there was a master's thesis that was done related to a scope expansion or a practice expansion that we're seeking for legislative policy action. We are utilizing that unpublished master's thesis not as the founding piece of evidence for what we're doing. There is a lot of evidence that that person used as part of their thesis, and so most of those resources are what we're utilizing. But the master's thesis also is one of the sources. The thesis itself is the gray literature. The other sources are more of the quote-unquote hard evidence. So think of gray literature as stuff that is not published in traditional channels, meaning most of the publication journals that you are familiar with and that you see on the Cochrane database and all PubMed. It's not necessarily peer-reviewed. Very often things that are negative results that don't get published, because people like to publish their positive results, that's what gets funding. The negative results are sometimes in gray literature. So it's one of the reasons it's also important for us to look in gray literature. In the online resources I'm going to give you, there are a couple ways for you to search for gray literature as well. So hope that helps. If you have more questions, feel free to ask. Good luck with your lit search and a bib. Bye.